The interesting thing about, the amazing thing about that is that if you look back to history, to the 16th and 17th century, you know pretty accurately what the aristocracy wore, because there's a lot of that is preserved. But what the people who were peasants and workers, and in this case fishermen, what they wore is only been, you know, kind of something that you have been able to speculate about. But now when they're finding the fishermen and they are all intact, it's very interesting, and we're going to get a special private viewing of their entire archaeological archive of knitwear that they have uncovered since the frosts started melting, which, by the way, is awful. I don't remember,
it's like 500 years old. They're very old, actually. Yeah. We saw a picture of a knitted sock with black and white yarn, like melert. What's that in English?
Yeah, it's
that's amazing. So here from the sublime to the, you know, very workaday. I thought this was a good question that probably other people are wondering about. How do you suggest, you know, washing this wool and garments made from this wool?
So we don't actually think you need to wash it, because if you hang it outside, it will refresh automatically. It's a natural wool from sheep, and it's self-cleansing. So, I mean,
like smell, if it smells,
if you go into a place with cigarette smoke and it's all, you know, stinking and smelling disgusting, put it on a hanger, put it outside on your balcony or whatever, and then the day after it will be fresh. So we don't really recommend washing unless you have to. When you do use a soft detergent, a soap that is aimed at wool fiber, or you can use your own conditioner that you have. If you have conditioner in your shower, you can use that. So a mild kind of soap. And then when we finish our garments, we prefer finishing with the steam and an iron as opposed to putting it in water.
Yeah, we never block things because we don't see the reason, because when you make a garment, the size should be straight from the needle. We don't stretch it to find the right size or anything.
I've evolved to not just, you know, for all of my woolens, mostly using steam to clean them. You know, if you actually spill something on them, you kind of have to wash where you spilled. But otherwise, they smell so nice when you just apply, you know, fresh air and steam to them, and they last a lot longer.
Yeah, I would say applying steam to wool is like applying conditioner to human hair. The steam does something to the wool that the wool really likes. And it kind of, as you say, refreshes itself and softens it, and it also makes it expand again. You know, wool is a light fiber, and when it kind of expands, all the stitches end up really nice and neat and pretty. So yeah, we are big on steaming.
You see, if the tension is a little bit uneven, you just stretch the knit when you finished it, and then you steam it, and it's perfect. You know, in Norway, the best comment you can get, if someone looks at your knitting and they say, wow, this looks like it's machine knitted, that's a compliment, because that's what we aim for.
Yeah, perfection.
And if you look at this one, this is actually machine knitted.
Yeah.
That's what they did in Setesdal in the old days. They made it
in a hand
loom.
Yeah.
So
all right, before we close, we got to talk about these mittens. These are going to be, I can't wait to knit these mittens, because they have the secret clever thing of duplicate stitch as part of the design. And
this is so fun.
If you want to, that's the thing. They look just as good without the duplicate stitching.
But I love adding color with duplicate stitch.
Yeah, so
I think that is so fun.
So this mitten is, we've created the patterns for it, but it is actually designed according to how you will always do a Selbu mitten. So it has all the characteristics of a Selbu mitten, from you've got the edging around the mitten, to the larger pattern on the top of the mitten, to the smaller pattern on the palm of the hand, and then some sort of a mirroring of the pattern on the top of the mitten in the thumb, or on the thumb. Yeah. So this actually qualifies in a way as a Selbu mitten, even though there is no Selbu rose on it.
No, and the inspiration for this one came from the traditional mitten from Setesdal, which is knitted normally in black or white, and then they added embroidery. The whole thing was with embroidery. But we changed that, and we took those acanthuses and those patterns and knitted them.
And then a fun fact, back in the old days when Selbu, the Selbu mitten was a big business and big industry in Norway, the knitters, they would leave a code on the rib. You know, the combination of stripes and how they were done was a knitter's kind of signature. And these have our signature. The combination of those stripes is the Arne Carlos signature.
We use this for a long time now. We always do this, the code.
Yeah, so it's our code.
Now we know. That's awesome. Yeah, this is a really, I mean, this pattern, this shape and basic construction is how old? Like hundreds of years old or 100 years old?
Yeah, it's very traditional.
Very traditional, with a sharp tip of the finger, of the hand, and the
point.
Two patterns.
Yeah, these have been on my list for so long to make. And
the good thing with mittens and the Norwegian yarn, you can actually use so many different needles. So before we made a lot of different sizes, and but then we made, we knitted the same mitten with 3 different needles, and you get exactly the same as when you make a bigger or smaller pattern. So you can knit them on needle 3 or 3.5 or 4, and then you have 3 different sizes. The yarn can take it.
Gauge shifting, that's awesome. I hadn't even thought about that component. And also the fact that it's stranded knitting doubles the fabric's thickness, you know, as it makes it a very snug and warm mitten on top of being completely fabulous. Do you suggest, so in the field guide, we definitely show exactly how to do the, we have it in 2 sizes. So left hand, right hand, you know, we really, you're going to get your pair of mittens exactly right if you follow those charts.
Yeah.
But you can go and do your own thing, right? With duplicate stitch if you feel like it.
Yeah. You can add other colors, or you can add more colors, or there's so many things you can do. So
the thing that cracks me up is the thumb is the most fancy thumb I've ever seen on any knitted garment. And
it's such a little bit of knitting, you know?
Yeah, it's just like a little thing, but man, when you're done, you're just like, check
that. It's very important in our culture for the thumb to mirror the top of the mitten. So it has to be
like the same style.
In our thinking, it has to be the same style. We have to have that little extra color pop on the thumb to keep it in, you know, in tradition.
That's fantastic. I did not know that, and it's just perfect. It's so much fun.
I totally would have done a solid thumb, you know. I'm too far.
No. You can't have that. Then it will be thinner than the rest, and you will freeze on your tongue.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's why you're the designer,
right? Yeah, we're not going to cave on this, you guys. We're going to totally crush it. Let's see. Before we close out, are there other questions, Kay, that you're seeing?
Let me just take a quick roll through them. Can we talk about what's ahead in the knit along, just to orient people as to you know, what will be happening? Arne, you know, we have enough trouble keeping track of what we're doing, and in this case it's like a double venture. They're, you know, Arne and Carlos are doing stuff and we're doing stuff, and we're all working toward the same goal, which is for everyone to really have fun making this hat and hopefully getting inspired to knit everything else in the field guide. How could that be a bad decision? So what's coming up for us is we're going to kick off the knit along. We're going to be in the lounge. We welcome you to come to the MDK lounge, which on our homepage and every page of the site, it's a little button that says lounge up at the very top navigation. And I know you have, you are so busy on YouTube, and you're dedicating some YouTubes to the knit along. Is that right?
Yeah, every Wednesday starting tomorrow until the end of February. So 4 Wednesdays, we are doing the knit along. And what we've done is we have looked at the design and we split it in 4 parts. And we will be knitting both Arne and I will be knitting this. And then when we do our podcast, we'll be talking about what we've done, how we've done it, what the challenges could be. And then hopefully people will be there to ask questions as well.
And we will also make small short videos where we show quickly
How to do
small
certain things.
like the purl or the carrying of the yarn.
So we're going to be sharing our tips, our hacks, and maybe even talking, like, for example, tomorrow will be the first part, which will be casting on the rib, and then the first increase when you knit the row in stockinette and increase one. We'll be explaining why we do that. We'll be talking about the long tail cast on, things like that. Then the next 2 weeks, we'll be doing the color work in 2 parts. So part 1 will be half the color work, and then the week after part 2. And then the final week, we will be doing the shaping of the crown, the decreases, and talking about, and then, you know, every week we may stumble upon something that we think, oh, this is something we may want to share with our viewers, or our viewers may have questions about these things before they attempt. So hopefully
it can be like anything, like a lot of people, sometimes when we do classes, people ask, how do I start the second color? Things like that. That's also things we can do easily on short videos, and then we tag you.
How do I carry the float? When do I have to start carrying the float? On which row is that? And so on. So all these things we're going to be explaining, both visually in short videos and also in our podcast.
Awesome.
You know, there's some interesting questions here, and we can't answer them all. But one question is, you know, do you have to do anything to participate in this knit along? There's no formal sign up or anything, just knit and show up. If you want to be in the running for prizes, we have put this out already and we'll repeat it a few times, but you just need to post either to Instagram to the hashtag Arne Carlos, ARNECARLOS. And, you know, we have Rowan just being very generous with a huge prize, which is the yarn to knit the Valdres pullover in your size. And we have lots of other prizes, and they're really, most of them, we just do a drawing from the people who have posted to that hashtag, or posted, if you're not an Instagram person, which some people aren't, you can post those pictures in the MDK Lounge, and we also draw from there for our prizes. And also, prizes just make things kind of fun. So we try to always do them, but there's no formal sign up for this. It's just join us, knit this project. If you wanted, someone asked, can I knit the mittens instead? Yeah, knit the mittens. You're going to get a lot of what the Arne and Carlos are teaching applies to all the projects in this book, not just the hat. So knit what you want to knit. You know, knitting, it's supposed to be fun. That's our motto. So do what makes your heart happy.
Yeah, I second that. Just show up to our podcast if you want to join the knit along. That's all you need to do. Just show up. And it's free and it's open for everyone. And we welcome everyone. And we look forward to doing this in the coming weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun for us too.
And I'm going to hold my horses. I'm not finishing the hat tomorrow.
It's got to be so challenging for you, Arne. You could have finished it during this Zoom, you know?
This is fantastic. What time is your Zoom on Wednesday, just so people can be there?
So same time as today. It starts at 6 p.m. Central European time, which is noon Eastern time, or 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Great.
Or 11 a.m. Central time.
Wonderful.
So,
all right, guys. Thank you.
Guys, we're going to have so much fun, and we hope to see you on the internet, everybody.
So if you go ahead.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody as well. It's going to be very, very fun.
Yeah, we're excited. Before we go, if anyone would like to save the chat, you know, there's a lot of good stuff in there.